Hey everybody, this is Victoria here, and today we are doing a map of Michigan. Now we're doing a map of Michigan because that is my home state where I was born and raised. I lived there for 18 years of my life, and today we're going to be doing a map of Michigan. So as you can see, I'm doing the outline, the lower peninsula, the upper peninsula, and I am making sure that it's perfect, getting out the colors that I need. I knew I wanted to do a dark blue for Lake Michigan, so I used a little bit of gray, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of dark green for the background colors. And right now, as you see, I'm just starting with outlining the upper and lower peninsula and then coloring in all of the background. And usually you should work from light to dark, and the land masses are going to be a lighter blue and the background's a darker blue. So technically you could do light before dark, which you should do, and do the peninsulas first. But rule number one, even before that, is to do your background first. So that's why I did proceed with doing my background first instead of doing light to dark. So I kind of let one rule outrule the other rule. So as you see, I'm doing my next coat for my background here. This background needed, I think, 2 or 3 coats because I'm using watercolor paper, and it really sucks the color in. So sometimes for darker colors, you really do need to do like 2 or 3 coats to make sure it's fully opaque. And lighter colors though, like a light blue, a yellow, stuff like that, it really can't tell if it looks kind of the same. So like, for example, this light blue that I'm doing for the upper and lower peninsula right now, I only had to do 1 coat of that. So I did 2 for the background color, and now I'm just putting in those little islands, as you can see. They were just pretty small, so I didn't keep the white paper in there. I just painted right over the background color. And I'm just filling it all in here. As you can see, I have my reference sketch to the left, which I actually drew on like classic lined paper and not a nice fancy sketchbook. I actually kind of need to order a fancy sketchbook because I feel like I never actually have real sketchbooks. I go into the idea of having a sketchbook and then I end up tearing all the pages out of it because I mostly paint. So I paint in the sketchbook and then I take out the pieces of paper, so I never actually have a real sketchbook intact. So I need to actually do that at some point here. And as you see here, I'm just filling in the background again, just some parts that aren't super opaque. I use the dark color, and then filling in some light blue spots that aren't fully opaque. And now I'm making a lighter color that's a mix between the landmass and the background color for my little waves, because I wanted like a little pattern of some waves in the water here. And I actually did one I did 2 where it's actually connected to the country. Like, so Michigan is a peninsula, so it's surrounded by water except for the bottom part where it's connected to like Ohio and Indiana, and I actually put 2 little waves there, so it kind of looks like an island, but it's not, as you know. So now I am painting Lansing, the capital of Lansing, where I was born. So yeah, I was born in the capital city of Michigan, Lansing. So that's the building in white there is in the center, and now I'm just putting in some lighthouses. Michigan is known for all of its lighthouses because we're pretty much all beach all around except for the very bottom part of Michigan. So lots of lighthouses. And now I'm digging for colors, and it looks like I'm making a gray because I'm doing a little Petoskey stone up in Petoskey, Michigan. Oh, now I'm doing the Porcupine Mountains. I hope you guys like these videos. Basically, we thought that since I basically paint all the time, that we would start filming them and showing you guys my process. I didn't show the sketch part of the reference sketch I made, but it's not super exciting. I'm just looking up references online, like maps and certain symbols and ideas, and just sketching from that, so not super exciting. Now I am adding details to my little lighthouses. I did a sailboat on the bottom right thumb of the mitten. Michigan's also called the mitten, if you don't know, because it's kind of shaped like a hand, like a mitten hand. Now I'm doing a red lighthouse. I think that's in Grand Haven, that red lighthouse. And below that is the Silver Lake Sand Dunes, which my family's cottage is at. And it's where we go in the summer on Lake Michigan. So I did the Silver Lake Sand Dunes. And now I'm starting some cherries up in Traverse City. And I kind of put that random sailboat on the bottom right on the thumb because it was kind of a blank area in the composition. So I added just a little sailboat. Now I'm doing the Manistee National Forest. So I'm doing a bunch of trees here. And I'm doing some more trees in the UP because the UP is lots of forests, lots of trees, logging, etc. Added some trees to the Porcupine Mountains. And doing some details on the Petoskey Stone. And what am I starting up there? Oh, corn, I think I'm starting corn. On the right there, top right. Oh no, it's the leaves for the cherry blossom. Or no, apple blossom. Apple blossom is the state flower of Michigan, the apple blossom. So I'm gonna do a little apple blossom up on the right there. Next to the Lansing State Capitol, I'm doing a Sparty head because MSU is in East Lansing. So we have Lansing and East Lansing. And East Lansing is where I lived for a majority of my life. I grew up I was born in Lansing at a hospital in Lansing. Grew up in Hazlitt. That's where I went to school. And then when I was a little bit older, we moved to East Lansing. And my dad still lives in East Lansing. And then my mom lives in Lansing. So I have both of them there. And coffee time. I got some iced coffee. Trying to see what I'm painting here. Oh, putting the details on my apple blossom. Oh, and I know what I'm doing. I was trying to figure out what I was painting. So, right between the Silver Lake Sand Dunes and the Lansing, the capital, I'm doing a flower with a butterfly on it because that's where Grand Rapids is. And in Grand Rapids, they have something called Meyer Gardens. And Meyer Gardens is a really, really nice garden and also a butterfly exhibit. So you can walk through these butterfly atriums, and butterflies will land on you. They'll land on the flowers by you, and there's just butterflies everywhere. You have to be really careful not to step on them. And when you go in, or when you leave, they make you go in this little chamber, and they make sure there's no butterflies on you before you leave, because they'll follow you, or they'll stay on you. So yeah, the butterfly's on there now. And I did a monarch butterfly. Adding details. Oh, and now I'm starting my cereal box in Battle Creek. So if you grow up in Michigan, there's like this, or at least in central Michigan where I'm from, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Like when you're in elementary school, everyone goes to Battle Creek to go to the Kellogg factory because Kellogg cereal is from Michigan in Battle Creek. And that's on the bottom left. And then the bottom right, I'm starting the University of Michigan little M and a football. And now I'm starting a Detroit record on the right there. At this point, I'm really jumping around because what I do is like, I'll start one little piece of a symbol and then let it dry so I go on to something else. That's why I'm I'm not finishing one symbol and then going to the next, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because I want to let things dry before, I do the coats on top of it. So like if something has blue and then black, or blue and then white, I'll let the blue dry before I do the next color on top of it. So that's why I'm jumping from symbol to symbol here. I'm doing a little apple up above Detroit because in Michigan we grow a lot of produce, especially apples, blueberries, asparagus, tons of corn, hay, wheat. I actually put corn and wheat also on there, and then I think I do strawberries as well. Yeah. Oh, sugar beets I do as well because we grow a lot of sugar beets. Actually, my great uncle was a truck driver and he drove sugar beets between the thumb of Michigan and central Michigan for many years. And then I'm starting a windmill in Holland, Michigan on the left below the sand dunes because that's where my dad grew up. He grew up in a town called Holland, and it's a Dutch town. So that's why I'm doing like a little Dutch windmill there and little tulips. And in Holland, Michigan, they have something called tulip time, which is where they celebrate the Dutch culture and they celebrate tulips. And my dad actually wore clogs and danced in the little parade, and he hated it. He also picked blueberries when he was growing up as well. So there's some blueberries on the Michigan too. And I'm putting details on the Porcupine Mountains here. I'm adding tents and syrup. Oh, I put a maple leaf next to the syrup. And then, my light went out. Indy came and fixed it. My boyfriend came and fixed it for me. Sometimes I paint things I don't like, and that's okay because you can fix everything. Nothing's permanent. So on the top, there's like a little red syrup container I painted, and I painted a maple leaf next to it, and I just overpainted it. I just painted over it because I didn't like it. And I painted over it again. I didn't like how the maple leaf looked. Putting sailboats into the Silver Lake sand dunes painting. Oh, I'm adding corn everywhere because we grow a lot of corn and wheat. And I flipped my painting over to, I think, work on the mountains. I put snow on the mountains is what I did. I'm now adding snow to the Manistee National Forest, the Porcupine Mountains, some other spots in the UP. Fixing my syrup container. Oh, it's looking good. So right now I switched to my pen because I wanted to start writing some of the locations. I forgot to talk about something. I also did a dream catcher above Lansing in Mount Pleasant because we have a really big Native American population there, and in Mount Pleasant for the Chippewa Native American tribe. So I did a dream catcher there. And now I'm just putting in all my cities. Writing them in. I didn't know if I wanted to do all caps or lowercase, but kind of just wrote them in normal, upper and lowercase. Right, so some little touch-ups here. Signing my name. Taking the tape off. This is it. This is the final product. Thank you guys so much for watching.